Today we're doing lesson 11.8, equal parts. The essential question is, what are halves, thirds, and fourths of a whole? Listen and draw. Put pattern blocks together to match the shape of a hexagon. Trace the shape you made. So I have put a yellow hexagon here, and I'm going to make it with different pattern blocks. I'm going to start with 2 red blocks. So I'm just going to pull this one away so that I can trace around that. I need to put my finger on it to hold it in place. So there's one. And there's 2, and because they are red pattern blocks, I'm just going to shade those in with my red crayon. Now there's more than one way to make a hexagon using pattern blocks, so I'm going to start out with a red one again. And then I'm going to put a blue one under it. And then a green one right in here. So I'm going to color my red block red. And then the blue one. And the green one. Now there are other ways that you can do this. Another example is using all green. It's a little tougher to keep those together and then to trace them, but I do have 6 green on here, so you just trace around the outside and then go ahead and do the lines in there, whichever way you would like to do it. Okay. Then turn your paper over to model and draw. The green rectangle is the whole. It can be divided into equal parts. There are 2 halves. Each part is a half. So because there are 2 parts, we call those halves. There are 3 thirds. Each part is a third. I've taken this rectangle and they've divided it into 3 equal parts. Those are thirds. And there are 4 fourths. Each part is a fourth. And there are 4 parts. Share and show. Write how many equal parts there are in the whole. Write halves, thirds, or fourths to name the equal part. So when you go to spell those, they are right here. And if you need to check to see what that means, you can go back up here at the top and look at that. So this green shape we have, how many equal parts are there? There are 2. And what do we call 2 equal parts? It tells us up here that we call them halves. In the blue rectangle, how many equal parts are there? There are 3. And we know that 3 equal parts means that we have thirds. And in number 3, there are 4 equal parts. And we know if you have 4 equal parts that means fourths. Number 4, how many equal parts do we have? We have 3. Those are thirds. How many equal parts do we have in number 5? We have 2. Those are halves. And in number 6, how many equal parts? There are 4. Those are fourths. Go to your next page, 749. And it says on your own. You are going to do this on your own. I am just going to explain it to you. You will need to write the words halves, thirds, or fourths again. So look up here so that you can spell them correctly. So in this row and this row, you will tell how many equal parts the shape has been divided into, and then write what they are called on the line below. Number 13, draw to show halves and explain how you know that the parts are halves. So you should draw a shape in this box. It can be a rectangle, a triangle, a circle, whatever you would like it to be, a square, and divide it into halves. So on your picture here, divide that into halves, and then explain how you know that the parts are halves. What makes it be halves? And turn your paper over. Page 750, problem solving. We're going to sort the shapes. Draw an X on shapes that do not show equal parts. So look at all of these shapes that you have here. There are a couple that do not show equal parts. Put an X on those. Then you will need a red crayon. And with your red crayon, you are going to color the shapes that show thirds. Now, how many parts will they be divided into if they're showing thirds? You're going to color that red. Once you have finished that, you're going to use a blue crayon, and you're going to color the shapes that show fourths. The shapes that show fourths. And for number 15, it says draw lines to show fourths 3 different ways. So they've given you 3 squares, and they want you to show 3 different ways that you can divide these into fourths. So do that in each one, and then explain how you know that the parts are fourths. How do you know that each one of these shows fourths? And when you have completed that, your assignment will be done.